Hello everyone, hope you're well. If my camera randomly falls midway through this, a screw's come loose and I have no idea where it came from. I'm looking around the little, I can't remember what it's called, tripod, and I don't know where there's any kind of bolts or whatever loose, but yeah, Sheepdog's got a screw loose, we all knew it. As you can probably hear from my voice and my general demeanour, I'm much more healthy, happy, whatever, fighting fit today. 2 days off, sleeping for 2 days straight, don't half do good for someone who was under the weather. I can tell you that for free. It goes without saying, I imagine. But yeah, basically that has been me since Monday. I got home from work feeling ill and basically hit the sack, slept through, barely did anything to help anyone around the house. Poor old Claire had to kind of get on with it. Slept most of yesterday, did a little bit here and there, and then suddenly by the evening I just felt like a completely different person. I felt so awake, alive and ready. I managed to smash out 2,000 words of my story. I think the fact I was sat there in kind of silence, sleeping and laying around and just generally dozing around, I was processing it in my head. I was thinking about the fact that I was stuck at this point. So when my story is split into two different perspectives and every chapter is different, the other person's perspective, I'd had like character A moved to this point and then character B was moving in that direction, and then the way I was writing it, they'd kind of turned around and gone back the way they'd came, literally for no reason other than when I was writing it the conversation started going that way, and I couldn't, and I'm thinking to myself, so they're just going to go off over here and they're going to carry on off over there. And I think while I was sitting around just wallowing, I suddenly thought to myself, why have I accepted that as the decision? Why have I accepted that as that's what they're doing? I wanted them to go the other way. So write it, you fool. So I just rewrote what I'd written and sent them off. And I say I wrote 2,000 words. I think the official word count was 1,500, but I deleted so much stuff and overwrote so much stuff that I'm saying it's probably more like 2,500, 3,000. But I kind of ended up with a word count at just under 2,000, I think, for the 24 hours, as it were. And I'm really chuffed. It means I'm right back on the horse. It means that I'm going to sit there tonight and I'm going to do some writing. I feel really on it. I know where I'm going. Getting over that hump has kind of cracked. And I think a lot of the conversation came from the fact I was having a back and forth with a mate of mine Monday and Tuesday about the Game of Thrones semi-finale and the finale, and so many people are unhappy with what's going on. And I kind of said that the bloke who writes the books is, obviously partially to blame here because he's let it all kind of get away from himself. And my friend said to me, you say yourself you're getting writer's block with your story. Imagine a story that's got millions of people worldwide all hedging on, their entire opinion on how he finishes the story. He's probably crippled with indecision. And we were chatting away about how hard it must be to overcome that kind of block and how hard it must be to come up with something you're satisfied with if you've already got higher standards and you've already got 40 different things on the go. How he must be doing it. And I think realising that I only had a couple of threads on the go and I was struggling and I'm nowhere near that level and all of that stuff made me think, do you know what, just shut up and get on with it. And put my money where my mouth was, kind of thing, because I think I was saying even if he is stuck, he's at that higher level, he could afford to get the help he needed to get through it, if that was some sort of therapy or what. It's a weird one, actually. Like, I'm not going to go into any spoilers, but Game of Thrones hasn't been awful. It's weird knowing that there's that 10 out of 10 level writing and this ain't it. I guess this has kind of dropped to, I'm happy to watch it, I'm enjoying it for what it is, but it is disappointing that it's not A grade gold. I got up early for the past 2 episodes and I'll be getting up early for the finale. And I'm kind of like, was it worth it? It wasn't like Breaking Bad level and wasn't on Lost level. Lost was amazing when that finished. I got up early for that and I was delighted that I did. It was well worth every second. So yeah, back to the house shenanigans. I was absolutely delighted to know that Emily did not get sick while she was away. She has returned with a big brown mark here, where, bless her, I think they stopped on their way there and she accidentally banged her head on a branch, she said. It ripped a chunk of hair out the front of her head and really knocked her for 6, made her cry, and that. She said she cried and then was fine. It's weird that I'd seen all these pictures of her while she was away, and it wasn't in any of them. And then today she comes home and there's just this brown patch there, and she looks a bit like she's been through the wars. Bless her, it's like a graze. She said she had a great time. She was telling us all the funny stories of what they'd done. They'd tricked a kid who had his blindfold on and sent him crawling off across the field, telling him he was in a tunnel, which I can't quite get my head around, but sounds hilarious. She basically got to share a room with all of her best friends, except one or two. So they'd split the class down the middle, all the boys half and half, all the girls half and half. And she managed to be with basically all of her friends bar two, and was like, that's amazing odds for her. That was really good. She just come back really happy, really chilled. Good for her. I was really pleased for her. Olly has been fine, except that we put him to bed last night. Spent our evening watching telly, me writing, all of that. I remember feeding the dog her treat and going upstairs, getting ready for bed, laying down, and I could hear this noise. And I actually thought it was the dog choking, and I started to panic. I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking, there's something wrong with the dog. I need to run down to the dog. So I picked up my phone for the torch, I don't know why, ran towards the door, putting it on to run downstairs, and Olly was waiting behind the door, made me jump a mile, and it turned out it wasn't the dog making the noise, it was poor old Olly, and he'd been sick all over his floor. It was like, So we were a little bit shocked that he'd been sick again, because that's obviously, he started being sick last Monday, and he was still being sick, Tuesday, the week after. So we cleaned all that up. That took ages. I think it was about 1 by the time we finished cleaning up all the sick. It was everywhere. It was terrible. The room smelled horrible. And then I think he was sick again at 3, although I missed that one. Claire got up and sorted it. And then in the morning, Claire went in there. She said to me, the room still smells pretty bad. And then it turned out that actually, no, Olly had an upset stomach and he'd made a big mess with that, bless him. And so we had to clear all that up. And we were like, this is mad. He's been ill for over a week now. And we keep assuming that he was going to be fine, because he's literally, and we rang the doctors this morning and we were saying he's literally gone from being, he was sick and then he was absolutely normal all day long, and then he was sick and then he was absolutely normal all day long, and it was like he stopped being sick and we thought it was fine, and then he started getting an upset stomach, then he was fine, then he was sick, then he was fine, then and it was like yesterday yesterday was a complete mess up. I don't know what was going on. I was off sick sleeping all day, as I mentioned. I got a call from nursery saying I haven't come to get Ben, and I was like, I didn't, I'm off sick. Claire's getting him, and Claire, bless her, had completely forgotten that I was off, and I went and got him. It was fine. We got there before the deadline and that, but they were a bit like, you're normally here by now. Are you coming? So that was a bit of a head bend, and then I went to get Olly because I just thought Claire's running late. I don't know where she is, bless her, and asked how his day had been, and his nan said he hasn't gone in today. He was ill this morning, so he missed school yesterday, and I hadn't been told, so I just assumed he was there all day, and I hadn't had a call, and all was fine. I was surprised to hear that he had an upset tummy. The school knew, Claire knew, but I hadn't been told because I was obviously in bed. So I left him a message saying we're booking him an appointment. We're seeing what's happened. We thought he'd just be off today and it'd be fine, and he'd be in tomorrow, but then he was ill today. So I took him to the doctors, and we had a good chat with the doctor there. The doctor checked him over, said he's hydrated, his ears are fine. He's got enlarged, what are they called, tonsils. I had mine out, and I think mine were enlarged when I was a kid, and I ended up having to have mine taken out, but his are slightly large, but that's not, apparently, it wasn't the cause, it's not a thing, there's nothing wrong with them. And they just said everything seems absolutely fine with him, so they were like, just wait it out until Monday. If he's still ill Monday, then take him back in, but other than that, it'll run its course. So I've had to tell the school, I left him a message saying, he's unwell, but if you want to send any work, he's fit enough to work. Everything's fine except for the fact he's being sick. They've not really done anything. I'm a bit confused. I don't know. But I mean, two minds. Part of me thinks maybe the fact that he's off sick means they literally don't have to do anything, so therefore they're not doing anything. And I don't mind that. I kind of get that they're pushed. So it's like needs must. That's public sector all over. You don't do more than you need to. So I don't blame them if that's the case. But the head rang me today to see how we were getting on, and he mentioned that he reckoned we were supposed to have a meeting, but he couldn't tell whether he hadn't sent the message or whether I hadn't received it. I'm confused as to how, but he said that the deputy head had mentioned to him that we were all ill. And I thought, well, maybe Claire mentioned it to them in a message, but he and she knew we were all under the weather except for Emily. So I just said, yeah, if we missed it, sorry. If you missed it, never mind. So Claire's going into chat to him on Friday. But I said to him, can we get some work? And they just haven't really acknowledged that I asked. So I'm just letting Ollie take it easy, to be honest. I mean, I'm doing a few bits with him myself, trying to teach him new words to read. I know he's doing about Brazil, so I was trying to find some facts out for him. But what I could do with is a YouTube video all about Brazil and the carnivals in Brazil that I could sit him in front of. I had a quick look, but the things I searched for didn't come up with anything useful. I didn't really want to send him on a Cinco de Mayo video or I don't know, it's Mexico. And what's it called? Whatever the big one in Brazil is called, I forgot the name of it. My mind's gone blank, but I was going to look that up, and then I thought I don't want to accidentally bring up all the kind of ruder parts of it. I know that can be quite a rude festival in places. Not that YouTube would have anything nudie on there. I guess I could look it up on the kids' YouTube, but you know what I mean? I don't want to get anything that's slightly wrong or teach them the wrong things. And I don't want to assume things about Brazil, like the football side of it all. And then it turns out they were doing much more important stuff or whatever. So, yeah, without guidance from them, I don't know. But I did ask them to send me some forms I could print out and get them to do, but they're just not bothered. We have our SEND coordinator meeting on the 3rd of June. So that's quite cool. That means we'll get somewhere with the EHCP. They were aware of that when I spoke to them, so that was cool. I was a bit nervous because I'd taken Ollie out for a quick bit of fresh air, and literally they rang as I was down the road. We hadn't gone far, there's like a little park, and there's no one there. I walked down to it, Spanner Poker stop, came back. We're walking back, and the bloody head rang, and I was like, you're not supposed to be out. So I was trying to keep it very quiet and act like we weren't outside, and then a car was revving its engine next to me. And I just thought, for goodness sakes, but they're not going to care. I don't think they are. He needed to get out. He was getting a bit bored and fed up, and it's my lunch break. I was working from home today, and I just thought, you know what, it was 1 o'clock, and I thought, let's just go for a quick wander up the road and back, get a bit of fresh air. Jobs are good. And I feel like I've been really productive being at home, and it's been really nice spending the time with him, actually, because when I'm not working, I'm chatting to him about little bits, asking him little questions, kept calling him in for a cuddle. I kept going, come to work and see me, and he'd come across the little border between the kitchen and the living room, and he'd have a chat. He'd go, I'm going home now, and then he'd go back to the living room and sit down, and yeah, it was really nice. He did come and ask me, he said, Daddy, what's a pleb? And I was like, it's a poor Roman person, a Roman street beggar. And he was like, why does Preston keep calling himself a pleb on this video he's watching Preston playing Minecraft? And I was like, I don't call people plebs, Ollie. It's a nightmare. Even the kids' YouTube teaches them bad habits, but not that he's not going to get any major trouble with that. It was quite funny. So yeah, that is basically our 2 days. I'm feeling so much better. It's weird feeling stronger when you've been ill, because you don't realise how normal strength feels, I guess, but I feel really good, and I feel like I can smash out some words tonight, and I know where my story's going, and I'm building towards some big stuff in it. I'm thinking once I get to that big bit, I can rattle off towards the end, and yeah, I'm really pleased. It's been good, and yeah, all's well in the Sheepdog household. I think we're all getting over the crux of it. I'm hoping Ollie goes tonight without being ill. He's got a bowl with him now, and he knows to use it. We'd not given him a bowl last night. We'd given him a bowl every night. And we managed to stop every issue. And then last night we just let our guard down. We thought it was better. We didn't give him a bowl. So he was glued to the bowl today and tonight. I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, it's fun scrubbing his floor. That taught me a big lesson. I'm going to wrap up anyway, because you don't need to hear more about me scrubbing my floors. Hope you're all well. Let me know how your week's going. And let me know what you think of the Game of Thrones ending. No spoilers in the comments, but let me know how you're finding it so far. Is it going as you expected? If you really... Without being spoilery, who do you think is going to sit on the throne at the end? Reddit had a really cool thing on there. If you go on Reddit and you're a part of any of the Game of Thrones groups, they ask you to commit your name to one of the characters that you think will win the throne at the end of it. And I committed mine. Maybe I'll do a recap. I don't know. Spoilery videos never seem to go well for me on YouTube, but I stuck my... myself behind Cersei about, 5 or 6 episodes ago, before the season started, I think. It's been really interesting reading all the different characters, people supporting them. It's like supporting a football team almost. You're reading everyone's interpretation of episodes from their team's perspective, and it's been really entertaining and extra. I think that's probably why I'm enjoying it more than some of my friends are, because I'm seeing this rivalry build between the different groups who think their character's going to sit on the throne. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts if you're watching it. If you're not watching it, why not? It's really good. I mean, as far as TV goes, it's really good. If you've read the books, you do definitely feel it's been watered down dramatically, but if you take it as it is, and I'm learning to do that, then just, yeah, it's all right, it's good. Anyway, as I say, I'm going to shut up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you in the week. Cheers, bye.